What's up, guys? My name is Lex. This is Poker Vlog number 12. We're here in Dallas for episode number 3. I'm going to give you guys a recap of episode number 1 and episode number 2, so stay tuned for that. Hope you guys like this last session here in Dallas. Make sure to like and subscribe if you guys like these videos. Alright, let's get after it. Here we go, guys. Last day here in Dallas. We get here around noon. We have about 6 hours till our flight takes off, so quicker session today. We're in for 1500. Let's build a big stack and run good. First hand we're going to go over here. We have ace-5 of spades in under the gun +1. There's an under the gun straddle to 10. We're going to raise this up given the fact that we're six-handed. We make it $30. The hijack calls next to act and the cutoff calls, so we're going 3 ways to our first flop. Dealer puts out 7-4 deuce with 1 spade. We flop a gut shot to a 3. We have ace high and a backdoor flush draw. We're going to c-bet on this board. I don't think you should always be c-betting on a board like this, but given the fact that we have a gut shot and ace high and a backdoor flush draw, we bet $60. Hijack pretty quickly calls and the cutoff folds. Turn card 9 of clubs. This does not help us at all here. Our plan on the flop was to continue on any spade, any 3, any ace, or high card. And given the fact that the 9 is a pretty big brick, doesn't help our equity, we check, and our opponent bets 130. So now he's repping a pretty thin range. What I mean by this is that if he called on the flop with a 4, pocket 3s, pocket 5s, pocket 6s, or a 7, and the turn card is a 9, he may be checking back a majority of those hands. So now that he's betting, he's saying he has 2 pair or a set. And given the fact that it's pretty hard to make a set or 2 pair in this game, we make the call here with our gutter and ace high. This opponent has been very active so far. Dealer puts out the last card, which is the king of clubs. I expect this to go check check a lot of the time here, and I could be winning, or he could possibly win with just 1 pair, but he ends up putting in a bet of 275, so a huge bet here. He's not scared of the king. It just doesn't make much sense to me. My thought process for tanking here with ace high is that he's just repping such a narrow range of hands, basically only sets on this board. He really can't have any 2 pairs, 7-4, 7 deuce. He wouldn't really be playing these hands, possibly pocket 9s or pocket 7s, maybe 9-7 suited, but it's just very thin here. We end up tanking for a while, maybe like a minute and a half, thinking it over. We decide to let this one go. The problem with hero calling with ace high is sometimes they are turning a pair into a bluff, and that's happened to me before where I call with ace high and they have like bottom pair and they end up winning, so we let this one go. Moving on to the next hand here. Alright, in this hand, under the gun straddles to 20, there's 3 callers. We wake up with pocket 10s here in the big blind. We are going to bump this one up big time. My standard raise size at a position is 4x plus 1x for every caller, so that's $80 plus $60 is $140. We make it an even $150, 6 green chips going into the middle here. With all this dead money in the pot, we want to make the squeeze pretty big here. We do not want to go multi-way. We don't even really want to see a flop here. We just want to take down this dead money, which we do. All of our opponents fold. We end up taking down this $80 pot with pocket 10s. Third hand of the day here, we wake up with ace-10 offsuit. Under the gun limps, we make it 25 from the hijack. Cutoff calls, small blind calls, and the limper calls. So 4 ways here to a flop. Flop is ace high with a queen and a 3. Rainbow here, they check to us, and given the fact we have an ace with a decent kicker, we probably can't get 3 streets of value here with our hand. We end up balancing out our range by checking. We check, and the cutoff checks right behind, so we're going 4 ways again to the turn. We see the 8 of diamonds, brings in a backdoor flush draw. Small blind leads out pretty big for $75. The limper ends up making the fold, and back on us. Given the fact that we check back the flop, we're just going into bluff catch mode here. We're going to let him bluff off or potentially value bet a worse hand, so we make the call. Going heads up to the river, which comes out the 10 of diamonds, gives us 2 pair. We have the ace of diamonds, so less likely he has a flush. He ends up still betting here $150. We could potentially raise here to get called by worst 2 pairs, but we decide to think for a while and end up making the call. I don't think there's any other choice here but just calling, so we put in $150. We get shown king 9 of diamonds here. Great run out for him, terrible run out for us. We end up losing this pot, giving him $150 on the river. Don't think I can fold after I check back the flop though. We have 8-9 of diamonds here in early position, and this is a close open. In some tough tables or tough games, I may be folding this from early position, but in this game, pretty passive game pre-flop here, so we make it $20 and get 2 callers. The board comes out ace, king, 7, 2 diamonds. We flop a flush draw, backdoor straight draw. We have a big range advantage on this board. We can have all the aces, ace, king, pocket kings, and ace, queen. So when we c-bet, we want to c-bet big here, $65. We get called in 2 spots. All right, it's our turn to hit a flush now, but the dealer thinks otherwise. He puts out the 9 on the turn, which gives us a pair, so now we could just go into pot control check mode. We don't want to be blowing this pot anymore. We do have some showdown value. We check, and our opponents check behind. We are looking for a diamond, a 9, an 8, anything. The dealer does not listen. 6 of clubs on the river, no help to us. We end up checking it, and the hijack player wins with king, queen off, so nothing here for us in the beginning of this session. Things are not going our way here in the beginning. We're down probably $300 to $400. We decided to do a $50 bomb pot flip. Basically, we just all get dealt in and we check it down to the river. Whoever has the best hand wins this $450 pot. The flop is 5-4 deuce, all black cards. We look down at queen of hearts and 9 of hearts. So totally missed this one. We're definitely not winning this flip, that's for sure. We're going to play a couple hands now with the same player. Apparently his nickname is Donkey. I didn't come up with this. That's just what they call him down there in Dallas. And just a little background on him. He's basically the only player that I saw bluffing huge multiple times. He was putting his opponents in very tough spots, making big bets, big calls. So with this guy, I'm just going to close my eyes and make the call and hope for the best. All right, first hand here with Donkey. There's an under the gun straddle to 10. We make it 40. He calls on the button. Let's get some of those Donkey dollars. Let's go. We're going heads up here to the flop. Flop comes out ace, 10, 7, 2 hearts. We flop top pair, top kicker here. We put in the check, trying to induce Donkey to bet. He's super aggressive. We check and he checks back, so he doesn't take the bait. Turn is the 9 of clubs. We're done checking here. We're going to try to start building this pot. We bet $60. He doesn't think too long before calling, so he can really have anything here. We're looking for a clean river, which does not come out. It comes out the queen of hearts. The front door flush draw does come in, but we know he basically can never have a flush here. He would always be betting a flush draw on the flop, so whenever he bets the river, I'm just going to go back to what I said earlier. Close my eyes, make the call here with my top pair, hoping he just has a random bluff. If he had a flush draw, he would bet the flop. If he had a straight draw, he would bet 2. He bets 175. We make the call. He shows 8 high. We show top pair, top kicker, and take down this pot. Next hand with Mr. Donkey here. He straddles to 25 under the gun. We make it 75 in the cutoff with Jack 8 of hearts. We're super deep with this opponent and we want to play hands with him in position. So we raise it up and he makes the call. Flop comes out ace, 3, 4 with 2 hearts. We flop the jack high flush draw. Ace high board is great for us. We can have the ace queens, ace king, and aces. And our opponent probably would be 3-betting ace queen or ace king pre-flop. So we're going to bet. We bet $80, just about half pot. Donkey ends up tanking for a little bit of time. A fold would be great, but he ends up putting in the call, so it looks like we need to improve here or bluff our way to win this hand. A heart would be great. It's my turn to definitely make a flush today. The dealer has other plans. He puts the offsuit jack on the turn. Donkey checks us, and we could be betting here to try to get value for some of his flush draws, his 3 and 4x, but we decide to check it back, take our showdown value here, try to improve on the river. The last card here does not improve us. It's the offsuit 10. And we have a jack here, most likely the best hand. Donkey doing what he loves to do, puts in a bet, huge bet of $425. With this bet size here, he's saying he has a super strong hand. He would never be betting this big with like ace 7 or ace 8. And given the fact that we have a pair here and he can have a lot of missed flush draws, missed gut shots, and just basically total air. We put in the call for $425. However, we're not going to be getting this money back. He shows pocket aces. So he flatted us pre-flop, flopped top set, and he got the max from us. Good hand, Donkey. All right, guys, had to take a break, had to go outside. Pretty big tilt coming out of that last hand. I guess I don't have to open up Jack 8 of hearts there, and I definitely don't have to be calling off on the river, but the only action player at the table that's really putting a lot of pressure, and he's been bluffing big in the days before when I played against him. So I don't mind the call. Probably not the best to call with second pair there, but what are you going to do? Next hand, we pick up ace-king offsuit. Under the gun makes it 15. We 3-bet to $75. Button cold call 75. Action player in the big blind calls 75. Under the gun calls 75. So a lot of action here. Going. Now that puts me on tilt even more. Guy revving his truck right when I'm doing my video. I'm doing a vlog here, buddy. Come on. All right, so we're going 4 ways of the flop. Flop comes out king 7-4 rainbow. Flop top pair, top kicker. Things are looking a little bit better. Checks to us. We bet 125 into roughly 300. Button shoves all in for 415. Folds back to us. We snap call 415. He shows king 9 of hearts, so we got him crushed. He has top pair with a 9 kicker. We have top pair with an ace kicker. Turn card is a 4. Pairs the board. River card 4. We both make a boat. We end up chopping this up. Massive tilt again. Down probably roughly $1,000, maybe a little bit less, but sometimes you're not going to win. Sometimes it's not your day. We're going to get back in there, try to grind. We got about 2 hours left till we fly out, so hopefully we can make some hands, but you guys will be watching. All right, back in there. Back inside now, we have ace queen of diamonds in under the gun +1 position. Under the gun straddles to 10. We make it 40. Donkey calls on the button, and the straddler calls. We've got a premium hand here. We would love to smash this board with some diamonds or a couple aces or a couple queens, but the flop comes out king, jack, 4, 2 spades. We flop 1 overcard with our ace and a gut shot to the nut straight with the 10. We c-bet on this board, given the fact that it hits our range pretty hard. We can have pocket kings, pocket jacks, ace king, aces, and king jack on this board. So we bet $80. Donkey doesn't think too long before putting in the call. With such a sticky player like Donkey behind me, I don't always like a c-bet on this flop. We really don't have too much equity. If we had a backdoor diamond draw, I think that would be better as well, but we end up making it 80. Donkey and the straddler calls, so we're looking to improve here on the turn. Turn card, king of clubs, pairs the top card. This is a good and bad card for us. I think it's like 50-50 here if we should continue to bet or not. Once we get 2 callers on the flop, I think we can shut it down a lot of the time, but we can have all the strong hands still. We can have a big king, so we're going to keep representing a big hand. The problem with betting on the king is our opponents are more likely to call now with a jack. They will fold out some hands like flush draws and straight draws, which are good, but we are also beating those hands most likely with ace high. So we put in a bet of $250. Donkey snap folds, which is good. The player under the gun who straddled makes the call here for $250, which is definitely bad news. He most likely has a king, possibly a hand like queen jack or ace jack. I don't think he'd be calling with a flush draw here. He was playing pretty tight, so we're going to definitely shut it down unless we improve with the straight or an ace. The river comes out, jack of spades, so brings in the front door flush draw. If he has a jack, he now has a full house. We are just going to check this one behind when he checks to us. He shows ace king offsuit, so we're not going to be winning this one. Alrighty, definitely the most interesting hand of the night. There's an under the gun raise to $15. We 3-bet to $75 on the button. The small blind cold calls are $75 with about $1,000 behind. He is in the game for at least $2,000, losing a lot, and the under the gun player folds. So we're going heads up here to the flop. Board comes out pretty good for us. Queen, 5-7, 2 hearts. We flop top pair, top kicker. Our opponent checks to us. We bet fairly big, $110, trying to get value from all of his queen X, his flush draws, his pairs that are non-believing. He basically snap calls our bet. Turn card, 6 of spades. Sometimes I would be checking back this turn card, but given the fact that he cold called a 3-bet in the small blind, I don't think he has many suited connectors like 5-6 or 6-7 calling that bet. So when he checks to us, we're going to continue to bet. We put out $260. Our opponent thinks for about 3 to 5 seconds and throws the money in as well. So we're going to go 3 streets here. If the river is a brick and he checks to us, we're going to shove all in for max value, trying to get called by king, queen, or possibly queen, jack. With almost $1,000 in the middle, the river card is the 9. Pretty bad card for us. One liner to a straight, and even worse is our opponent shoves all in for $525. I want you guys to pause the video right now and go comment down below. Would you call or fold in this spot? It's a really, really tough spot. I'm going to give my thought process here after you guys comment. All right, so whenever he shoves this river, he's saying he has an 8 or nothing. And if we think back to pre-flop, he shouldn't really have many 8s. He can have pocket 8s, which is basically the only hand that he should have an 8 in. Probably not a hand like 5-8 or 7-8. Probably not 8-9 because he would probably check raise that on the turn. Another hand he could have would be pocket 9s, but on the river he thought for like 2 seconds and shoved all in. I think if he rivered a set, he would think for at least 10 seconds to determine what bet size he wants to use, so I don't think he has pocket 9s either, so he's repping an 8 or nothing. When you're thinking about calling a huge river bet, you kind of have to bring everything into the picture here. The fact that he's down money and he's capable of possibly turning a hand into a bluff or a missed flush draw into a bluff, we flick in the call for $525. He kind of pauses and looks at us, which is the best sign ever, which means we're most likely good. He shows 9-10 of hearts, so he ended up turning his pair into a bluff after he missed his straight draw and flush draw. We show the ace-queen and take this pot down. That was a much-needed win for us there, about a $2,000 pot, so looking good. Into our last hand of the night here before we leave to the airport, we have ace-king of spades, and under the gun makes it 25. We 3-bet to 100. We have a premium hand and we want to build this pot up. We want to play in position against our opponent in a big bloated pot with such a strong hand. We make it $100. The small blind cold calls $100 and the initial raiser calls $100. So going 3 ways to a $300 pot. Board comes out ace, 5-8, all diamonds, and when checked to us, we have top pair, top kicker. We're going to bet, trying to get value from weaker aces, possibly hands like pocket 10s, pocket jacks that are unbelieving with a diamond, or a hand like king, queen, or queen, jack with a diamond as well. So we bet $150. When betting on this board, we don't want to bet too big. If we bet something like 275 or 300, then only the hands that are beating us will call us. We want all the hands that are drawing to call us as well. They only have about 30 or 20% equity, so we bet $150, half pot, and both of our opponents end up folding. We take this pot down, rack up, and get ready to head to the airport back to Miami, Florida. Alright guys, that is it for episode number 3. We are here at the airport heading back to Miami. Today was a super swingy day. We were down about $1,500 at the worst of it, but ended up crawling back, won some big hands there, won that hand with ace queen, which was good, and we ended up in the game for $3,400, cashed out for $3,427, profit of $27, ended up making about $1,000 on the trip, so pretty profitable trip. Definitely will be back. The action in Dallas was great. Games were great. Everything was awesome. So can't wait to come back. And it was a lot of fun. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. There'll be more videos like this every 3 to 5 days. All right. Until next time, I'll see you.